Trump org fined $1.6 million after conviction for 17 felonies, including tax fraud. The Trump Organization was fined $1.6 million, the maximum possible penalty, by a New York judge Friday for running a decade-long tax fraud scheme, a symbolic moment because it is the only judgment for a criminal conviction that has come close to former President Donald Trump. Two Trump entities, the Trump Corporation and Trump Payroll Corporation, were convicted last month of 17 felonies, including tax fraud and falsifying business records. Under New York law, the most the companies can be fined is about $1.6 million, a penalty the Trump Organization can easily afford. We all know that these corporations cannot go to jail as Alan Weisselberg has, Steinglass said Friday, referring to the Trump Organization's longtime chief financial officer who was sentenced to 5 months in jail earlier this week, as part of a deal he reached with prosecutors. The only way to effectively deter such conduct is to make it as expensive as possible. New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg, a Democrat, told CNN that the fine against the Trump org is important, but he also wants lawmakers to raise the fines for companies that break the law. It's important regardless of who the defendant is, because it's cheating and greed and cheating the taxpayers, Bragg said. It obviously becomes more consequential given that it involved the former president's corporation and CFO. It sends a message, I hope it sends a message to New Yorkers that you know we're one system of justice and that this kind of conduct, regardless of who you are, won't be countenanced in Manhattan. But, Bragg said, the fine isn't enough of a penalty. It isn't sufficient. Plain and simple, Bragg said, saying the law should reflect what I think many of us see, particularly those who sat through the trial and saw the 13-year pattern of deep greed and misconduct laid bare. We should have stiffer penalties for conduct like that. The Trump org entities have 14 days to pay the fine. The real estate business is not at risk of being dismantled because there is no mechanism under the law to dissolve the company. No individual will go to jail based on the jury's verdict. However, a felony conviction could impact the Trump Organization's reputation and ability to do business or obtain loans or contracts. Trump and his family were not charged in this case, but the former president was mentioned repeatedly during the trial by prosecutors about his connection to the untaxed benefits doled out to certain executives, including company-funded apartments, car leases and personal expenses. One prosecutor said Trump explicitly sanctioned tax fraud. One of the jurors told CNN that the jury saw a culture of fraud at the Trump Organization, but referred to Trump as a nondescript Bob Smith at times when talking about the company owner's awareness of the crimes in relation to the charges. Weisselberg last year pleaded guilty to 15 felonies related to the tax fraud scheme and agreed to testify truthfully against the company at trial. He remained on paid leave at the Trump Organization, where he was compensated a little more than $1 million a year, until Tuesday when he was sentenced. Weisselberg received a severance package that one person familiar with the deal called generous.